Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kerstin, Heusinger. We're again here at the court in Göttingen, where we had the 33rd hearing in the case of Reiner Fuellmich. Where are we, Kerstin?
Well, hello, Djamila. We are on the roof of the court, where we were sitting next to this is the canteen where you can order a cafe or eat something, and we just decided to do this interview here outside because it's a very special place, and it's a very special perspective as well.
Yeah,
right.
And it's relatively quiet as well.
Yes,
and it's sunny still. So
yeah.
Yeah, so the very special place is behind us. It's down below is an inner garden, and there's an artwork there. Mm-hmm. Can you describe the artwork?
Well, it's probably important as well to say that we see that during all the hearings. Yeah. From every courtroom, when we are in the hearings, you see this
from every window.
From every window, yes. Yeah. You see this like an installation. It's a kind of installation in the garden. There's a tree in the middle of it, and you're going to see it. And around the tree there are like glass walls. You just described it in German. It's like a labyrinth. Yeah. And like as well like prison walls. Well, like in French you would say juxtaposé. I don't know how you say that in English.
Perpendicular to each other.
Right, yeah. Right. And there is written in big letters, "You shall not."
Yeah, du sollst nicht. So it's a bit funny to have this outside a courtroom, but anyway, we just thought we'd show that this time. Meanwhile, I think a group of people has gone into Göttingen to make music and draw attention. At least one person was going to draw attention to the case of Reiner Fuellmich. We might try and visit them later, but we don't know if they've already done it or we'll see. Mm-hmm. Kerstin, we had a very short hearing this time. Yeah. Fridays are always short, but this time we started at about 9:37 or 9:40.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I think Reiner Fuellmich came in about probably 9:36 or something like that. 9:37, and we started like 4 minutes later.
Yeah. And then so only Tobias Pohl, the lawyer who was given to Reiner by the court, he was there. The other lawyers, Christof, Miseré, Edgar, Siemund, and Katja Wörmer, they were not there. Katja was ill, Edgar Siemund was ill, and Christof Miseré was also not able to come.
He was declared not to be able to travel, so for whatever reason, yes.
Yeah. And the judge then asked Mr. Pohl to start the final plea. Mm-hmm. And then what happened?
Well, then Mr. Pohl, who was sitting today at the place of Katja Wörmer, so as the main defender place next to Reiner Fuellmich, said, "Well, I actually missed all the hearings in which we had the what do you call this?
The witnesses, all the testimonies.
The witnesses, yeah. Yes. Sorry, I'm doing too much French, so sometimes I just lack English words. So the witnesses, he did not hear actually any important hearing with the witnesses, so it would be quite special and quite difficult for him, especially to start the pleading process, because he missed all that, and he didn't see it himself. And so he said, well, I actually would ask to stop this hearing today because I could probably add to
the end plea, but he couldn't start and be the body of it, because he came in late in the process, and he missed all the witness statements that the state prosecutors had brought in.
Right.
So it wasn't his position, he said, to do so. But we're actually forgetting before that when we left off at the next hearing, we didn't even talk about the next.
No, we did
hearing.
not talk.
But anyway, let's forget about that.
We'll do that later. We'll do that later. Yeah.
But at the next last hearing, at the end, it was asked: is Reiner Fuellmich even able to be imprisoned? You know, his conditions are such that now it's a question. He's still presumed innocent. Should he be imprisoned? Because it's quite extreme the way things go in there. And so the judge reacted to that request that he would have to research whether Reiner Fuellmich is still should be left in.
Should be left in prison. But the question was whether he was able to stay in prison in terms of health, and I think in several terms, and as well if he was able to do hearings in a correct way, right? Yeah. So it was both, I think.
Yeah, because he's encountered a lot, which we will tell in another thing. It has to do with the article that you wrote for BAM, the correspondence you had with Reiner Fuellmich.
Together with my colleagues.
The judge came back to that, and he said he had called the lady in charge at the prison and asked her if she had any signs that first of all, the neighboring cell is occupied by somebody who disturbs the rest of the prisoners. He's very distraught. He needs mental help. And Reiner last time described how he was shouting and crying and in different voices, and that he kept him up at night and during the day, that he couldn't really concentrate on his case anymore. And so that was one thing. And the other thing is, of course, he couldn't attend the farewell or a goodbye for his dying mother, and he's seen two befriended prisoners get hurt physically very badly. So all that was checked, and then what came back?
I think it was an oral response, right?
I think it was by telephone.
By telephone, yeah. Right? Yes. And she said, "Well, actually, we don't observe any differences in the attitude or in the behavior of Reiner Fuellmich, besides the fact that he's more polite, a little bit more polite with the people who are working there. But otherwise, he's still the same. He does never complain. He seems to be in perfect health, and she cannot confirm that Reiner Fuellmich would not be able to do the hearings, and that he would be able to stay in prison, actually."
Yeah, and she did also say that he was a bit of a danger to the other prisoners, in the sense that he fired them up for possible, revolt is too big a word, but that he was incendiary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she said that the neighboring prison mate had been given drugs, sedatives, I guess, and that he had been calm the last 2 nights.
The last 2 nights, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the terror, let's call it like that, had been going on for 3 weeks already.
Yes. Yeah.
Before.
Yeah. So then the hearing was closed after Mr. Pohl said, "No, I will not start the end plea."
Not directly. Well, actually, it was foreseen that Reiner Fuellmich continues to give some statements about his conditions of detention, and he was ready to start. And then Mr. Pohl said, "Well, I think it's better not to do this today, because there was given some date, on the 22nd, where they could do an official statement." Replying to this phone call of Mrs. Wilke, which they, I think, had just received this morning. It was quite fresh, and he preferred that Reiner Fuellmich would not continue the statement that he started last time. Yeah. And then Reiner was a bit of surprise.
Yes, it was a bit awkward, because I think Reiner had sort of prepared to talk.
He had prepared that, yeah.
And then the judge close it off. We had about, at the most 9 minutes, I think, probably 7 to 9 minutes of a hearing. And then it was closed off.
Yeah.
yeah, that was it. And it continues then next week, next Friday.
Yeah, it was not even 10 o'clock, I think, right?
No, it was 9:45 when we
Yeah,
stopped.
right.
Yeah, yeah, we started 9:39 or something like that. Yes, I did. Oh, yeah, and then after the judge closed, the chairing judge then quickly went behind. He just said to him, well, goodbye, everybody, and he went behind, and the other judges were still there, which was also a bit strange.
Yeah.
The state prosecutor left quite quickly, then all the judges left behind, and there was actually only Reiner left with his lawyer, Tobias Pohl. And then Reiner turned to the public and he said, this is so odd because they have asked, you could compare it with, they're asking the torturers whether the victim is tortured, and then the torturers say, no, don't worry, he's fine. This is a very strange way of checking whether he's actually okay.
Right, because Dr. Miseré actually asked for this to be examined, right?
Yeah.
So that Reiner should really be examined in a profound way.
Yeah.
And not of the, as you say, as the torturer of saying, no, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's...
Yeah, and you talked to Mr. Pohl afterwards a little bit, and Mr. Pohl said that if you're in isolation, then after 3 months there has to be a check, an examination, official examination, whether it's still necessary that you should be in isolation. Mm-hmm. And he had made a request for this to be viewed, to be assessed, and he assumed that no check has been made, that nobody has visited Reiner to see if he could be in isolation, and that also will be discussed at the next hearing.
Yeah, because the official time frame for that had been ignored actually.
Yeah, and there was no written record of him being examined.
Right.
Are we forgetting anything?
Yes, I think because for us the touching moments are as well when Reiner is talking, right? And he turned to the public because before he left there was the guys who take him out. I think it was 3 or 4 of them, and he turned to the public and he said it's not because on the outside you don't see anything that on the inside I'm not very, very much affected by what's going on. And actually, I think in the end of October, my mother there will be an official...
On the 29th of October, she will be, her ashes, I guess, will be
put to the sea, right?
To the sea?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they probably will not allow Reiner again to follow this. They already, as you know, I guess, did not accept that Reiner could say goodbye to his mother because it was pretty clear that she was going to die. Yeah. And he said...
Well, he was allowed to say goodbye, but only on the condition that he would be accompanied by heavily armed, machine gun accompaniment, and that he would be in chains.
He would have been, but
he didn't
hearing
choose to
that,
do that.
he was not allowed. He was not even asking because he said, under which conditions would I be able to do this request? And they said it would only be under these conditions, and he didn't even put the request actually because he wanted not to do this to his mother. Yeah. And Reiner turned to the public again and he said, well, I have you.
Yeah.
All of you. And he said, thank you very much, as he always says. Yeah.
So thank you as well for watching this and for keeping informed, and do share and do tell others about it. And we'll make another report somewhere else about the previous hearing.
Wednesday,
Yeah, and then we'll try to show you the inner garden now.
Right.
Okay. Thanks very much for watching.
Thank you, Djamila.
Thank you, Kerstin.
Thank you. Sehr gut sieht man es von hier aus, ne?
Ja. Du sollst nicht.
Hallo. Für Reiner Fuellmich, für Freiheit, für Gerechtigkeit. Ich mache heute Straßenmusik, ein bisschen Pianomusik. Gleichzeitig war ich heute Morgen bei einer Gerichtsverhandlung, wo jemand unschuldig leider festgehalten wird. Aber wäre schön, wir machen die Öffentlichkeit ein bisschen aufmerksam, oder ich, und machen gute Musik für Frieden, für Freiheit, für gute Energie.